Hello and welcome to the Middle School Gamer Book Club. What's up, guys? I just read chapters 9 through 12 of the book I Survived the Wellington Avalanche of 1910, written by Tarshis. I'm going to play Nickelodeon Kart Racers 3 Slime Speedway. If you can, read these chapters with me. If you're doing this as part of a literature circle or a book club, I'll have some discussion questions at the end. Alright, let's get started. Spoiler alert for chapters 9 through 12.
Not so fast.
Chapter 9 begins with a desperate search for that little girl, Violet. She said something about going and making a snowman, so Janie's pretty sure she must be outside and joins the adults in the search for Violet.
Oh, yeah. Watch it. Try this on for
One thing I noticed from this section was the author's use of personification. They're out there desperately searching for this little girl, and they're screaming out for her, Violet, Violet! But only the wind and snow answered them.
Like Master Splinter says, a ninja is always prepared.
Don't get crazy.
Hey! Huh?
So of all people to find Violet, of course it's Janie. They dig her out and they bring her in to warm her up. It really seems like Janie has changed her perspective on this little girl. She seems to like her a little bit more. Or maybe Janie is changing as a person as a result of the things that are happening to her right now. So back at the restaurant, everybody's debating about how long they're going to be stuck there. Some say 2 days, some say 2 hours. The big problem is that they can't get the plows and the shovelers through to help dig them out, so they're stuck until then.
Watch it. Totally cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, come on. Cowabunga! I tried to warn you. All right.
And chapter 9 ends with a bit of a scare. Violet has a cut on her face, and it might be from one of Janie's diamonds?
Here you go.
At the beginning of chapter 10, I was pretty nervous for Janie. If anybody discovers those diamonds, she could really go to jail. Thankfully though, she gets back on the train and nobody has noticed. She goes back to the compartment and realizes that a little bit of a ring must have poked through, and that's what scratched Violet.
Radical. Yes. Radical.
Janie finds a new spot to hide the diamonds inside of a red sock, and she hopes for the best. She knows it's not the best hiding spot, but it's the best that she has.
All right. Like Master Splinter says, a ninja is always prepared.
So the train riders are all stuck at the restaurant for another day. And while snowplows do arrive, it's just not enough to deal with this monstrous storm. Ultimately, after a day and a half, they're running low on food and fuel, and they decide to go about 3 miles down the track to another town. The town's name is Wellington. That's the name of the book, right? Uh-oh.
Ouch! Whoa! Oh,
Wellington is a ramshackle little town. It's not very fancy, but they do have a hotel. While they're eating breakfast, all of a sudden a man bursts in covered in snow and icicles. Turns out he was forced to walk through the train tunnel that they had just traveled on with the train. He walked from Cascade, the town they were just in, eating pancakes. He's got terrible news though. It turns out that the town was just flattened by an avalanche, the town that they were just in. Worse, some of the people at the restaurant that were taking care of Janie and the other train passengers, they were crushed and they're probably dead.
It's all yours. Oh, yeah! Huh? Yeah. Woohoo! Yeah! Radical! Yeah! I was awesome! Whoa!
Early in Chapter 11, Mr. Riggins is concerned that Wellington will get crushed by an avalanche just like Cascade. Now, the restaurant owner tries to make everybody feel better, and they say that Wellington doesn't get avalanches. I don't know about that.
Not so fast.
At this point, the characters should probably feel a lot of desperation, and I was starting to wonder, are they going to actually try to move the train through the storm? I guess we'll have to see. The group debates about what to do. A small number of men, including Mr. Riggins, decide that they're going to try to walk the 5 miles down to the next town. Everybody else waits inside the very smelly train because there's no running water on the train anymore, and they wait around. Suddenly, a message appears from the next town over, the place that Mr. Riggins was walking to. The messengers appear to be snow shovelers, and they are beaten up and they are tired.
All right!
And I gotta wrap up Chapter 12 pretty quickly. It turns out that Mr. Riggins and the group of men did make it to the next town over. We see a couple scenes where Janie and Frederick become better friends, which is nice because Janie doesn't have a lot of friends like that. Things are just generally looking up. I'm gonna finish this race.
Woohoo! All right! Let's get this over with. I gotta get home.
Alrighty, third lap, third race. I got Rocco in front of me. I jumped up to hard difficulty this time. It's not that much harder, but
What was
you can
that?
tell I'm not in first place right now.
Whoa! Ah!
I think this guy's name is French Toast Man, the power-up I have right
Totally
now. It's
cool.
one of the strongest ones. It seems to give you infinite boosts for a period of time.
Watch it! You can't win them all.
Second place, shame. Alright guys, that almost wraps up chapters 9 through 12. I have one more thing I want to say about chapter 12 that I couldn't quite fit in, and that's about the very end when Janie's diamonds are missing. We don't know who took them, we don't know how they were found, but Janie could be in serious trouble. She could be associated with that crime that happened at the train station if she doesn't locate those diamonds. Let's jump into our discussion questions now. Number 1, would you stay in Wellington after hearing about the avalanche in Cascade? And number 2, if you could bring 2 items to a survival situation like this, what would you bring? Alrighty guys, thank you so much for reading these chapters with me. Be sure to hit like and subscribe. Next episode, we're doing chapters 13 through 17, which is going to end the book. I look forward to seeing you then.